Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Silver Screen Dudes YouTube channel. My name is Nico Luro, and I am blessed, humbled, honored, and privileged to be joined today by Beatriz and Miguel, the stars of one of my movies of the year, Minha Casinha, also known in the UK as Autumn. The review for that is out on the channel now. Guys, thank you for joining me. How are you both?
Well, good. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure being here.
Nice to meet you.
And you. Let's get right into it. I would like to know, what was it that originally drew you to this movie? Why did you agree to take part in it?
She was casted before me, so I think she should answer first.
So I had already worked with the director, António Sequeira, and I absolutely loved him because I think he's one of the most professional directors I've ever worked with. And so it was like a no-brainer for me. The second I got the script, I told him I really want to do this.
Yeah, well, me was different. I mean, she was already casted. They didn't have the father yet, but the director was doing rehearsals with the rest of the cast. And I was, just sitting there waiting for her to finish. And he asked me if I could join. He wanted to do some tests. And yeah, that's how I got the role, basically. I was just stepping in because I didn't know I was doing a casting. I was nervous. I was, relaxed. And that I think that's why it worked.
Yeah, he told me actually that you were doing a that he'd sort of coerced Beatrice into doing a self-tape and having you play with him.
Yeah, they had a scam behind my back.
How when you found out afterwards that actually that was your rehearsal and you passed, what was your reaction?
No, I was like, Antonio phoned me the same night saying, "Well, I think you would be great for the role. Do you want to do it?" And I honestly, I was like, "No, I think you're crazy. I mean, you've got a really good cast, and I'm just going to be the weakest link." And he said, "No, I trust you. I know you can do it." And I was like, really, really nervous. There was a lot of pressure on me, but I did it. I just committed to that, and I did it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was really pleased.
You both did such a beautiful job with this movie. And it was quite a unique dynamic being like a real life father and daughter playing a father and daughter, right? So can you share maybe what of your real life relationship translated and came onto the screen? Because it's a very universal story.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit weird because we're not. I mean, that's a conservative family, the one in the movie, and we're not as much. We have a far more relaxed relationship, and this father is more controller and does things that we normally don't do. And on the movie we say sweet things to one another, and we normally don't do that. We just take the piss out of each other all the time. So it was kind of awkward on the beginning, but then you get into character and you just accept it, and it was really, really fun. And some of the team, I remember the Steadicam operator, he didn't even know we were father and daughter. So he thought we were just actors playing the role.
Yeah, so did I. I only realized afterwards, I was like, wait, same surname. Is it like a Portuguese thing where that's a very common name? Let me do a bit of research. Oh, damn. They're actually related. Yeah. Okay. No, you fooled me. Yeah. Both of you completely got me. And Beatrice, what was it like for you having your dad basically yell at you on screen and being like, yo?
I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
Because as he said, we are not very touchy. We are more like, we have a more cold relationship. But I don't know, it was so nice to because we are family. And
first few days was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But then you just go with it. So.
And it was like a year-long production, wasn't it, that you shot over the course of a whole year? So I guess in that sense, it must have been nice being with each other for a whole year, making a creative project like this, right?
Yeah, and we were always eager to go back there because the place is so beautiful, and we were lodged in a house right close to the riverbed, and it was so beautiful. We were always eager to go back, and when we shot the last season, it was like, well, a bit sad because we're not coming back for this. We're waiting for the sequel now. So
We lived together in the same house with the other casting members, so we could create like the family, the dynamic of the family.
Oh, that's
yeah,
lovely. That's super cool.
that was
Yeah,
that was the director's idea, and it kind of worked. Yeah.
I mean, he is a brilliant director. The fact, what I told him in the interview I just did with him, and what you guys both did so well, is this movie was such like a collection of small, quiet moments, and that was the power of it. You know, in Hollywood, they'd wanted to be like big drama, make it all loud, make it all really obvious. This was so subtle, and that's what I thought was beautiful about it.
Yeah.
And Beatrice, one for you here. So one of the things I loved about your performance was how you were coping with being perceived as the second favorite in the movie. And it was so subtle, but also really heartbreaking to see what you were going through in moments. What were some of the inspirations that allowed you to give a performance like this?
that's a great question. I think I was never the second favorite of the family, so I don't know. But I don't know. I get very jealous of the people that I love, so it was kind of easy to portray Belinha, and it was easier because she was going through something that I was also going through. You know, growing and changing and getting to learn a little bit more about myself. She was like me basically, so it was easy. With the same father.
Yeah. Yeah, and Miguel, then one for you. I think there's so much of your character, because I'm a new dad. I've got my daughter's 3.5 and my son is 1. And what I thought was crazy about the movie was that the beginning part, all of what Thomas and Beatrice were going through and Belinha were going through was like, okay, as a kid, obviously I would have been able to relate to that. But now as a dad, I'm also kind of relating to what Miguel, you were portraying. And what was it you said? It was that scene where you say, my adventurer died when we had them.
Yeah.
My heart just jumped into my mouth. I was like, it's so powerful. And I think every parent believes that. In the dark moments where you're really angry or frustrated, you think, maybe I missed my freedom. And then it goes away because it's not the real truth. But it's also one of those things you don't say that out loud. So it was kind of like you were speaking for every parent in our moments of anger. And it must have been really weird, like saying that to your real life daughter.
Yeah.
Like, what was the coping mechanism with that? How did you navigate the difficulties of doing a scene like that?
Well, that scene, the whole scene is very intense because the father feels like he's losing control over his family. So because we shot everything on sequence, you just let yourself go, and all of a sudden it's kind of releasing when you say something like that. Well, I've lost all adventure when I had kids. And it's like, I understand. When I read the script, I thought exactly what you said. And I was like, oh, but the script is so good. Because I immediately thought this is going to be really powerful. I can't mess this one up. But because I'm getting all emotional and I do other things, like I don't want to spoil, but I break the furniture and it's all in the moment. So, yeah, it was like what you said. I felt like saying this to, I have other kids, she's not the only one, saying that to them, just, man, why did I do this to my life? But obviously that happens in a moment and then you immediately come back to yourself. But in the movie, I had to say it like, we did like 20 takes or something, so I had to say it a lot of times. But it's only the first ones that you like, I can't believe I just said this. But just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it gave me kind of a new appreciation for the movie when I found out afterwards that you were both related. It was like, oh God, some of the things these two must have gone throughout this movie, like it's intense, man. And that just made what you guys did that much better. And Belinha, same. Sorry, Beatrice. I keep calling you Belinha. Beatrice, same thing to you then. Once that scene was done, or how were you getting through that scene? Because it's intense hearing your dad, real dad, and an acting dad saying that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's very emotional. And the whole movie is super emotional to watch with our family because it's real, and I don't know.
Yeah, the rest of our family got really, really emotional with the movie.
I believe it, and that's the thing. It is very real.
Yeah, it's very relatable. You either are a son or a father, and it's relatable either way.
I think everyone could relate to this movie.
No, I mean, you'd have to have no family or have no heart to not be able to relate to this. Yeah, it's very, very universal. And so, as I said, I genuinely thought you were both absolutely great in these roles, and you showed like a real lovely balance between confusion, despair, but then changing to sort of, I guess, Miguel for you, acceptance, and Beatrice for you, determination. Like, I'm going to go and study fashion. I'm going to leave home just like Thomas did. How did you both prepare to convey these emotions in the movie? Was it separate, together? What was the preparation process like?
Well, I prepared myself alone first, but then we rehearsed. As we were living together. We even rehearsed with the whole family because we were all living in the same place. And yeah, we just rehearsed sort of. I mean, you have to you can't rehearse it too much because you have to let some emotion get into it while you're playing it. But yeah, we studied a little bit. She does everything by herself. But I remember we rehearsed a little bit, but not much. I mean, it's just like we have to feel it on the moment, and you have to be open to the director's directing. You know, you might want something different than what you thought.
We improvised a lot. Yeah. Like we don't rehearse the real scenes that are in the script. We just do improvised scenes to get to know.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the case, and obviously acting and working with directors, it's a very collaborative process. Were there points throughout the, well, not even the intense scenes, it could have been any scenes, but were there points where you were sort of, where there was any pushback on Antonio saying, hey, I know the script says do that, but we feel maybe turning that or saying it that way would be better? Like, what was that process like?
Yeah, it happened quite a few times. Language things, words you don't want to say, especially my character is not evil, but he's a bit sexist and he's misogynist and he's a little bit racist and he's got all the things that a guy with such a background would have without being a mean person. So, and sometimes you don't feel comfortable saying those things, but the director is like, no, trust me, this is going to work. And well, it did. But sometimes you get nervous and I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this way and that way. But we have to trust. There's a sequence where I'm having that tender fight with my son in the kitchen, and it was so awkward. It was so strange. But Antonio kept saying, "No, just trust me. This is going to work. This is going to work." And well, it did. So you have to trust the director. You have to trust that he knows what he's doing.
Especially him.
Especially him.
He's a genius.
I don't drop the G word lightly, but honestly, this movie left an impression on me, and I have to agree with you, Beatrice. I do think he's a bit of a quiet genius. I think he's really put out a brilliant movie here. For both of you, what was the most challenging part of this production, and how did you overcome it?
I think he was doing it separately. Like, we didn't shot everything all together. We shot the 4 seasons, like
in different forces.
In different seasons. So we had to grow, and we grew along the characters. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, for me the challenging part was not screwing up. I want to do this proper. So I was really focused. I canceled everything else I had in my life for those 4 weeks, for those 4 periods of time that we went up north, because it's 4 hours away from Lisbon. And she didn't tell her, but I'm gonna say it. She was at the same time in one of the seasons. She was playing Anne Frank in Lisbon. So she had a driver, and she would come to Lisbon for 4 hours, do the play Anne Frank, and then go back to shoot the next day. And she did that for 2 weeks. It was insane.
I was sleeping between the takes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, I mean, and that's quite an emotional gut punch from one character to the other. And so you must.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go from Anne Frank to Belinha, and then it's.
Yeah, I mean, forget the physicality of having
Yeah.
to do so much. Just on an emotional level, Beatrice, you must have been absolutely exhausted after those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, and the play was
No,
like
it's-
2 and something hours of intense emotion.
yeah, but that's not a problem. I think we as actors, we need to separate like from real life. Otherwise, it would be super exhausting.
Well, and she's young; she can do it.
now you sound like the dad.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd be dead after 2 days. So.
Here's a good one. Can you speak about some of the difficulties in shooting in a relatively remote location? I mean, you just discussed obviously the long drives for you, Beatrice, but being out there for so long must have had its own set of difficulties. What were some of those, and how did you deal with them?
So we live in the country in Lisbon, and it's very noisy. And so going to like the countryside, a small town,
It was too quiet.
Yeah, it was
Too
too
quiet.
quiet for us. But we got used to it.
Yeah, and then I have this habit of every night going out after dinner for a coffee and the coffee shop around the corner, and there was nothing there. I would have to walk like 45 minutes to go to the boat docking station to get a coffee, but then you end up getting used to it, and you want to do it more.
I want that piece back.
Yeah, once you get used to it, it's like
I
so.
want that piece back. There you go.
Yeah.
That actually leads quite beautifully into my next question then, because so you know when people are sharing like big life stories, they always they give you details that paint the picture, you know, like oh, I was driving along the coast in Thailand and I can remember the sea coming up and the color of the light was a specific color, or the smell was a specific color. You know, people, it's always the fine details that leave a lasting impression and build the story out. Obviously, the experience of being a father and daughter on a 1-year production is going to stay with you forever. But that aside, what are some of the small details that you're always going to remember from being on this movie? Things where, you know, Beatrice, when you've got grandkids and you look back and you think, oh, I remember like the smell of the brick, or like the sound that the water was making, or the train tracks. What are some really beautiful moments like that you think are like romanticized?
Every scene that we shot at the train station were my favorites, because it was such a beautiful place to shoot, and we only had one chance because we had to wait for the train to come, and we had to like shoot everything in 1 minute, and we had to get it right, and it was
Because
so...
those are real trains, they're not production trains.
Yeah, it's real.
Oh,
With real people.
Yeah, with real people. It's like we had the schedule. Okay, the train will be here at 2:30. Okay, let's rehearse and let's get ready for the show.
You know,
It was
whoa, the
insane.
train is coming.
It
We
was
gotta be
insane.
ready.
oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to this whole what will you remember, but then how did you manage? How were the logistics managed? Because there's scenes where like the actor who plays Thomas, he's literally getting off the train. So what was he getting on at the
Yes,
station and then?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We had to wait for him to come back to shoot another take.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy.
I don't know if Antonio wanted us to say this, but it's true. I mean,
No, I
we,
think-
we could see the train coming from afar, and he was like, "Oh, the train is
Oh,
coming!"
the train is
and
coming. Get ready.
we would rehearse
Wow.
in between
Yeah,
trains.
yeah.
And I was wondering before seeing the movie, I was going to edit this because one train is yellow, the other one is red, the next one is blue. I don't know how I was going to edit this, but it is.
What a great story! That's a fantastic detail. And Miguel, how about for you? What
bacalhau,
sorry?
how do you say bacalhau?
Codfish.
Codfish at 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m. the whole night eating codfish.
I love that. So the
I remember
codfish.
the goats. I had to learn how to milk the goats, and that was pretty wild.
Oh, so those are actually your hands, doing that. They didn't get
That's
like
me.
the farmer's hands.
No, that's yeah.
This is what I love about independent cinema. This is why on this YouTube channel I love talking to actors and directors who make really beautiful independent cinema. Because you know what would have happened in Hollywood? They would have got a farmer to come on and do the goat. And here it's like, no, learn. It's great.
Yeah, and the tamed goat, because that one wasn't tamed at all. So.
What a great story. You, it's the goats, and for you, it's the trains. I love that. Super stories. That's lovely, guys. Oh God, sorry, you've thrown me there with that train story. That's so cool.
And also the dog, he was so cute.
Charlie,
the dog.
yeah.
Oh, and that
He smelled so badly.
It smelled so bad.
He was a hell of a cute dog. Very cute. Charlie, has he been in other movies, or is he like a local celebrity dog or something? Like, because he got cast in the.
He's a local.
He's been in other movies.
No,
he was the production guy's dog. Yeah.
He was the production guy's dog. Okay.
Same name.
Yeah.
So last question then: is there a plan for you both to make more movies together? And can we get a little bit of insight, even if there's not? Can we get a little bit of insight into what your next projects might be?
Okay.
Together with Antonio or with us?
Oh, I mean, all of the above. All of the above.
Okay.
Well, I'm as you. I don't know if you know, but I'm also a stunt coordinator and a stunt performer.
I did know this. Yes.
I'm preparing and I'm directing as a second unit. A series with a lot of fighting sequences. That's what I'm doing. I have a rehearsal now at 4:30 with the actors. So I'm gonna fight with the actors. And yeah, you're doing your thing.
And I'm shooting a soap opera.
In a Portuguese one or an international one? Or
no, a Portuguese one.
Very cool.
And I'm trying to get a little. Sorry.
More plans for you to work together as father and daughter?
We had a few ideas, but it's nothing finalized yet. We'd love to. I'd love to. I mean, I'm working on something with her, and I'm training her to do a fighting character. But we're not acting together. I'm just preparing her to look like a badass fighter. But we're not acting. I'm not in the show. She's the only one.
Portuguese John Wick. Love that.
Yeah, Portuguese John Wick, the ballerina.
Ballerina, exactly. How do you say ballerina in Portuguese?
It's ballerina. It's very similar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Guys, Minha Casinha is going to be dropping on Amazon Prime on the 2nd of June. As I've already said in the review, it is one of my favorite movies this year. It's an incredible achievement to make such a universally relatable movie about family and without ever making one character more important than the other, while equally showing what every single character is going through. It is a remarkable achievement of directing and a remarkable achievement of acting. And I've been happy to have Beatriz and Miguel on today. So guys, thank you so much for joining, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much for having us, and well, talk soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
I really look forward to that. And if people want to follow you on Instagram or on somewhere online, where can they find you?
Well, we're both on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what are your Instagram handles?
I'm Miguel Frazão .official, as in official.
Yeah. And I'm Beatriz Miguel .official. But
Yeah.
hopefully we'll do more international movies.
Yeah,
I really hope so.
She's preparing the international stuff.
Listen, if what I saw in Minha Casinha is anything to go by, that's coming. Like they've got no doubt about it. That was incredible what you guys did. So thank you for making such a great movie. It was a pleasure to watch, and I look forward to what you do next.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure. Thank you.